welcome everyone back to the Collective Minds podcast. Just a little short one for you here today. Conspiracy time. So I've seen a little bit of this. I'm sure a lot of you have as well, but the Leviathan theory. So allegedly there's this giant thing called Leviathan, right? Out in the ocean that is now thawing. And due to the weather on the East Coast, or right off the East Coast as well, of the United States, they're saying it's being created by the government to refreeze something called Leviathan. So it goes, what is Facebook's Leviathan theory, and why has it been spreading online? Why some people believe the U.S. blizzards were man-made. There you go. I love it. I love hitting these topics. If you don't know, I love going to the other side's info just to see through the BS, and that's the best way to do it. For those of you that are interested in learning more about what is real and what is fake, it's easy to see a cover-up when they try so hard to prove it's not. It goes, as freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall moved across more than half the United States in recent days, a fringe theory began circulating online claiming the extreme weather was artificial. Posts suggested the U.S. government or unnamed powers that be had deliberately created a winter superstorm to freeze a mythical Leviathan-like creature, allegedly awakening near Virginia Beach. The claims gained traction as images of an elongated serpentine shape in the Atlantic circulated with captions alleging a cover-up. Some posts claimed the figure was as large as New Jersey and pointed to nearby military bases as supposed evidence of government involvement. Others suggested the storm was designed to immobilize the creature beneath the ice, framing the blizzard as an intentional act rather than a natural event. So I'm going to go, hold up right there. I do believe that the weather can and is quite oftenly controlled by the government. And at this point, if you don't either, you're just kind of like burying your head in the sand, and I'm not too sure why. Let's question it. You know, they've had this technology probably going on 100 years now. They've been doing it. They've shown they could do it. China admits that they do it. They did it for the Olympics. Every country, I guess, you know, Russia, China, they all admit and have admitted multiple times they control their weather, so why can't we? So right there, deep dive. It's got to be a crazy conspiracy theory about a giant being out in the ocean that's thawing out, which it's now going to come to life and attack people or something. Does give credence to that one theory about we're all on the giant back of a turtle or something like that. Pretty hilarious. Yeah, just one of these little side quest conspiracy theories here, which this actually will take me down a little rabbit hole that we'll get into with a podcast with the boys, because there is an alleged spacecraft or some sort of craft or something out in New Zealand. And that's allegedly why we want to take it over. So that's pretty crazy by itself. But if you ask Trump and everyone else, you know, they also have good reasons, you know. I'm not sure what I subscribe to. I don't believe there's a giant beast out in the ocean that's thawing out and the government is trying to keep us safe by refreezing it using some form of technology, weather manipulation, HARP system, anything like that. But these are good to look at. As you can see, trying to shut it down from the beginning. If you believe that the government, that's what this is really telling me. If you believe that the government can control the weather, then you believe there's a giant snake lizard dragon out in the ocean that they're trying to stop from thawing out and taking over the world. There's no in between. Absolutely insane. And you guys can tell me what you think. If you have more to this, I love it. I love all these theories. And you know what? We live in a damn crazy world where a lot of this stuff could actually potentially be true. I mean, I tell people all the time, the odds of back in the day looking like the Lord of the Rings is way higher than what they're telling us in history books, because it's all false. Goes, in reality, the United States was experiencing a large and dangerous winter storm affecting tens of millions of people. On January 24th, snow and freezing rain swept across New Mexico and Texas before moving northeast, bringing ice, transport disruption, and power outages. The National Weather Service warned of potentially catastrophic ice accumulation and described an astonishingly long swath of snowfall stretching from New Mexico to Maine. Very dramatic. Oh, here we go. You can't believe in chemtrails, or without believing the dragon. The giant dragon out in the ocean that they're trying to refreeze. Says it's crazy to me right before this snowstorm of the century is about to bury half of the country. The skies are being sprayed like crazy and the majority of people don't bat an eye. If you still don't believe in weather warfare, this storm should end up being your wake-up call. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm on the west side, and we haven't seen a real winter in like 4 years. We're not used to that. Not used to that at all. It's not real. What I can tell you, though, because I do subscribe to like obvious chemtrails. It's obvious weather manipulation. They do it every year. It's interesting how the forest fires are every year, and it just goes around the mountains, you know, goes around the states like that. Oh, this year this is going to burn. This year this one's going to burn. You know, maybe they'll just, you know, tighten it up like lug nuts on a tire. You know, they'll crisscross. They give the other one time to start growing back before they burn that shit down too. It's absolutely insane. Let's jump over here, though, where they admit it's real, right? So it's called Operation LAC, or LAC, Large Area Coverage. Was a United States, and yes, Wikipedia, for all of you about to go, Wikipedia, what? I can look this up myself. Absolutely. All this information right here in front of you. Just click a couple buttons and look past, you know, the first three. This one's actually on the first one for you this time, so pretty easy. It was a United States Army Chemical Corps operation which dispersed microscopic zinc cadmium sulfide particles over much of the United States and Canada in order to test dispersal patterns in the geographic range of chemicals or biological weapons. So it was just a test, people. Just a test to see how it works when we spray chemicals, real chemicals, right, into the air. What would happen if our enemies sprayed us like bugs? Which is interesting because now today, right, they are spraying us like bugs. There were several later tests that occurred. Oh, it just wasn't one. Prior to the first spraying affiliated with Operation LAC that proved the concept of large area coverage. Canadian files relating to participation in the test site, in particular 3 previous series of tests leading up to those conducted in Operation LAC. September 1950, 6 attacks were conducted upon the San Francisco Bay Area. March to April 1952, 5 trials were conducted off the coast of South Carolina and Georgia under Operation Dew. What are these people doing? It was concluded that long-range aerosol clouds could obtain hundreds of miles of travel and large area coverage when disseminated from ground level under certain meteorological conditions. And then again in 1957, North Sea, East Coast of Britain, it was shown that large area coverage with particles was feasible under most meteorological conditions. In addition, the Army admitted to spraying in Minnesota locations from 1953 into the mid-1960s. And you see a lot of this in these conspiracies, in these operations, right, of the federal government, is they did it back 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and then they act like it's okay. They do. They've already done the groundwork, people, for the stuff that is a conspiracy now, right, a conspiracy theory that they're calling you crazy on. These people did the tests. They didn't just implement this and go, let's see what happens. They did the tests for this kind of stuff. The things they are putting in the air is there for a reason, and they're doing it strategically. Where is the best place? If I spray this over this area in this concentrated amount, how can I get it to spread out the most and have the most effect? Because they'll go to the end side where it's, you know, dissipated the most and calculate how much is still there. Think, oh, we need to turn it up a little bit or move a little bit this way or move a little bit that way. It's absolutely insane. Like I said, this is a quick one. Another article. We were experimented on the victims of secret Cold War testing in St. Louis demand compensation. So here's just an article about people going, we were in this. It's real. I mean, more credence. And it's not like it all just came from this, but this is something they'll admit to. Oh, we were just spraying it so we knew what would happen if someone did it nefariously. If someone else did it nefariously. Because St. Louis, Ben Phillips' childhood memories include basketball games with friends and neighbors gathering in the summer shade at their St. Louis housing complex. He also remembers watching men in hazmat suits scurry on the roofs of high-rise buildings as a dense material poured into the air. I remember the mist, Phillips, now 73, said. I remember what we thought was smoke rising out of the chimneys. Then there were machines on top of the buildings that were spewing this mist. It's the Tuskegee experiments. Pay attention. Just like the little, death poke that they were handing out. That's what this is. As Congress considers payments to victims of Cold War era contamination in the St. Louis region, people who were targeted for secret government testing from that same time period believe they're due compensation too. No, dismantle it. Transparency. I mean, give them the money, but make sure these kinds of things can't happen again with a little bit more oversight. We have so much black budget things in the works. Imagine what they are doing today. Imagine what they are doing today with this kind of testing. And not even just testing, but they've implemented from old testing that they are now testing new things that we'll hear about in another 60 years. In the 1950s and 60s, the Army used blowers on top of buildings and in the backs of station wagons to spray a potential carcinogen into the air surrounding a St. Louis housing project where most residents were black. The government contends the zinc cadmium sulfide spray to simulate what would happen in a biological weapons attack was harmless. Are you kidding me? And this is all wrapped together, and I'll link it right now. You can't have an opinion on what those lines are in the sky. And if you do, it means you're crazy because you believe in frozen dragons, right? But we're going to admit that we did the groundwork and the testing for it for years, and people are actually suing us and demanding money from us. And it was completely harmless, but we only did it in areas of people what they considered at the time as undesirables. It gives more credence to the idea that they are not just controlling the weather with these attacks. And they are attacks. They are spraying us, killing us slowly, some people quickly, more quickly than others, like bugs. And it goes into the whole weather situation. People are finding things in the snow, in the rain. They've been doing it for years, and now in the fog. The mist, the fog. They're trying to kill us all. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're back on YouTube, so give us all the support we need. We're a small channel, trying to get bigger. And, yeah. Let me know what else you guys know about this. Catch you on the next one.